You've probably done it, right? Asked an AI to write a goofy poem or maybe plan a weekend trip. It's fun, but how does that same exact technology get used to make huge decisions in a global boardroom? Well, today we're going to bridge that gap from the chatbot on your phone to the very core of business strategy. On the surface, that seems like a simple question. But the answer? Oh, it is a whole different ballgame. Building an AI that's reliable, totally secure, and smart enough for a massive company is a huge job. So we're going to peel back the layers and see exactly what it takes. So to guide us on this journey, we're actually going to use a kind of map. This is a breakdown from a professional certification for AI leaders, and it shows us what the experts think is most important. And what's really fascinating is, yeah, the tools are the biggest slice, but look at everything else. The fundamentals, knowing how to make it better, and pure business strategy, they're all absolutely critical pieces of the puzzle. Okay, so first things first. Before we can really dive deep, we've got to make sure we're all speaking the same language. Let's get the core components down. All right, first up, generative AI. Think of this as the creative spark, the engine. It's not just about looking at old data. No, it's about making brand new stuff. We're talking email drafts, marketing images, even lines of software code, all created from scratch. So how does it do that? Where do these new ideas come from? Well, it all starts with something called a foundation model. The best way to think about it is like a giant pre-trained brain. It's been fed an absolutely staggering amount of information, giving it this super broad understanding of the world that we can then fine-tune for all sorts of different jobs. Now, one specific kind of that giant brain is the large language model. You've definitely heard of this one, the LLM. This is the model that speaks our language. It's specially trained to understand, interpret, and generate human text, and it's the powerhouse behind all those chatbots we use every day. Okay, we've got the basics. Now let's go deeper. Because when you're typing into that chat window, you are literally just scratching the surface. You're only seeing the very, very tip of the iceberg. Underneath, there's this whole hidden structure that makes everything possible. And this whole hidden structure, we call it the Gen AI stack. At the very top, you have the application. That's the part you see and interact with. But right below it, there's an agent that figures out what you want, a platform managing everything, the model itself doing the thinking, and way, way down at the bottom is the raw infrastructure, the hardware, giving it all the power it needs. Every single chat relies on this entire stack working perfectly. And here's the really cool part. That stack isn't just some abstract idea on a slide. Nope. It's a real thing, and we can actually put actual, real-world, enterprise-grade tools into each and every one of those layers. Let's take a look. In the Google world, for example, your application could be Gemini right inside your email. The platform, which is kind of like the command center for the whole operation, is Vertex AI, and it's all running on some seriously powerful hardware, Google's GPUs and TPUs. See, every layer has its own specialized, heavy-duty tool for the job. Okay, this next part is super important for any business to understand. You can mess around with an idea, right? Test it out, play with it for free in a place like Google AI Studio. But when you're ready to get serious, we need something that's secure and can handle thousands or even millions of users. That's when you graduate to the big leagues, to an industrial strength platform like Vertex AI Studio. It's the difference between a doodle on a napkin and a full-blown architectural blueprint. All right, so you've got the tools, you've got the platform. That's great. But how do you actually make these incredibly powerful models do what you want them to do? How do you get the specific, accurate results your business depends on? Well, that is a whole other skill. Well, it all starts with something called prompting. This is basically how we talk to the AI. And it's not as simple as just asking a question. Oh no, it's this amazing mix of art and science, where you learn to craft the perfect instructions to guide the model to give you exactly what you need. But this brings up a huge, and I mean huge, worry for businesses. What happens when the AI just makes stuff up? You know, when it hallucinates, when it states something with total confidence, but it's just plain wrong. For a company, that is a nightmare scenario. So what do you do about it? Well, there's a really clever solution for this. It's a technique called retrieval augmented generation, or just RAG for short. It's brilliant, really. Instead of letting the AI roam free in its massive brain, you basically chain it to your specific information. The system first retrieves the facts from your company's own documents. Then it augments the prompt with that verified data. and only then does it generate an answer. It effectively grounds the AI in your reality. But even with cool tech like RAG, it's not always enough on its own, especially when the stakes are really high. We're talking about fields like healthcare or finance. That's where human oversight is just non-negotiable. Having a human in the loop to check the AI's work isn't a weakness, it's a feature. It's an absolutely critical safety net.
Okay, so we've been deep in the weeds with the technology. Let's pull way back now. Let's zoom out to that 30,000-foot view, the boardroom perspective. How does a business take all this amazing stuff and actually turn it into a winning strategy?
And this part is so, so important. Before anyone even thinks about writing a single line of code, a business has to stop and answer these really fundamental questions. You've got to look at what you need. How big does this need to be? How private is the data? And weigh that against what you have. The right people, the money, the time. You have to get the strategy right first. Always. So what does a winning strategy actually look like? Well, it's a mix. It's having that big picture vision from leadership, but also letting your teams on the ground experiment and innovate. It's about picking projects that will actually make a real difference to the business. It means investing in your people and your data, and crucially, making security and ethics a priority from day one. It's not a one-and-done project. It's a constant cycle of building, checking your work, and making it better. And listen, I really can't stress this enough. This whole idea of responsible AI, making sure your applications are fair, that they're not biased, that they don't cause harm, that is not just some checkbox you tick at the very end. It has to be baked into the process, from the absolute beginning all the way through to the end and beyond. So there you have it. We've journeyed all the way from a simple chatbot to the strategic components you'd discuss in a boardroom. We've seen the hidden stack, the powerful tools, and the business blueprint. So the only question left for you is this. When you look at your world, at your business, with all its unique data and its vision, are you ready to build?